Hello everyone, and welcome back to Steins Linear Bounded Phenogram. I'm G, and we are just bouncing between a whole bunch of different world lines, trying to save my area, trying to not have big gore blood session, and trying not to set the lab on fire. But anyways, let's get started. I sound like knives in my ears. My head feels like someone stuck their claws in my brain and shook as hard as they could. I clench my teeth until it passes. Then, when the pain eventually subsided, I noticed Kursu's face right next to mine. What's wrong? Are you okay? A cell phone in my right hand. The sun in the sky to the west. The hands on my watch point to 4:40. Time leap successful. What? Don't worry about it. I'll have to tell her all about time leaps eventually. But right now, I needed to get a grasp of my surroundings. I turn to Kursu and ask, what are we doing right now? Huh? You're probably really confused, but just tell me without any questions. I'll explain everything later, so please. Kursu narrows her eyes in suspicion. Then, a realization dawning on her face, she looked directly at me. This is bad. We can't be sitting around here like this. Let's go. Go where? Follow my area, of course. Kursu runs down the street. I look beyond her to see Mayuri's tiny back slowly moving into the distance. I see, that's one mystery solved. Apparently Kursu and I were following Mayuri. I rushed to keep stride with Kursu. You received the D-mail, right? The one that said, Tail Mayuri, perpetrator must be caught? I did, but why are you asking me now? Keep moving as we talk. Looking straight forward, trying to lose sight of Mayuri. What time did the D-mail arrive? 3:24, right when I was out shopping with Daru. And where is he? I told you I left the rest of the shopping to him and came back to the lab myself. Hey, what's with this conversation? Are you making fun of me? I promised I'd tell you everything later, right? So what happened later? Did you show me the message? Mayuri too. What did you say? I couldn't help but stop. The Kursu kept going. I immediately ran after her and asked, why'd you tell Mayuri? Now there's no point in following her. You were the one that said we should, were you not? Was I? Mayuri's ability to hide her presence and disappear is uncanny. Thus there's a chance that we will lose her even if we tail her closely. It's best if we inform her of our plan. Besides, how would she take precautions against her imminent kidnapping if we didn't warn her? That's what you said. Naturally, I had no recollection of ever saying this, but it certainly sounded like something I would say. So Mayuri is aware that we're following her. Does that look like someone who's unaware? Mayuri stops walking with an exaggerated stretch, turning around to look at us. After confirming that we were still there, she placed her hand to her side, sneakily waved at us, and turned back to start walking again. Sheesh. I did tell her to just act normal, but... well, in a way, that is normal for her. So, can you tell me now? Why are you pretending to have amnesia? How many times have I explained the same thing? If I included all the other world lines, it would be impossible to count. But I have the hang of it now that I've done it so many times. I know just how to make Kursu understand as quickly as possible. That said, as quickly as possible still takes quite a while if I start from the beginning. At the time I explained everything, the world around me was dyed a deep crimson. Doesn't seem that our perpetrator is going to show up. We've been keeping an eye out for over an hour now, but the only person we've seen was a young man handing out tissues. It's pretty bad when she doesn't even get stopped by a maid cafe scout. Kursu had apparently asked Mayuri to wander around Akiba without any particular destination in mind. Mayuri did as she was told, wandering all over town. Kursu and I maintained our distance, but continued to follow after her. Hey, just for clarity, X equals the Black Hood Men is an accurate assessment, correct? Kursu asks as we move. Yeah, they showed up at the lab in world line number 3. They continued. But But if they're watching for the right moment to capture Mayuri, they probably won't be dressed like that. They'd look too conspicuous. Besides, would they even have the audacity to kidnap her in a crowded place like this? The very moment Kurisu expects her doubts, a dark shadow crossed the road in the distance. And by the time we realized it, Mayuri had disappeared. Huh? I was dumbfounded. Let's go, Okabe! Kurisu's sharp voice strikes my eardrums. Damn it! I break out running, my feet pounding the asphalt. We turned into an alley to see a black shadow running along, pulling Mayuri's hand. A black hood! You've got some nerve, you son of a bitch! Think you can take Mayuri away in public while it's still light out? All the while wearing such a conspicuous outfit? Don't screw with me! I sped up and ran as fast as I could towards the black hood. Little by little, I closed the distance. I've already passed Kurisu, now she's behind me. She yells, "Stop!" That's hardly enough to stop the black hood. He won't even turn around. He continues to run towards the distance, pulling Mayuri along. Then suddenly, both of them disappear. They'd reached the end of the road and turned right at the corner. I take the same turn. Onto Chuodori. The sidewalk is packed with people. When I look down the street, I can see the black hood and Mayuri weaving through the crowd. I maneuver through the crowd and follow. I bumped shoulders with some people, but I didn't care. At this rate, Mayuri will be taken away. Plan will fail. The worst will happen. I chased after the black hood with all my might, pushing those unsettling thoughts aside. Then the black hood suddenly changed course, running across Chuodori to the other side of the street. There were no crosswalks or traffic signals, so we took Mayuri and darted through the passing cars. I immediately followed suit. Fortunately, there was a break in the traffic. I run across to the opposite sidewalk. As I stepped onto the guardrail, I heard a roar behind me. The snarling of a car's engines. I can't help but turn around, where I saw Kurisu in the middle of Chuodori. He's running this way, but a car is coming at her from the side. A white van, violently, accelerating, straight towards Kurisu. Kurisu! Ow! When I came to, I was on top of Kurisu's body. Sorry. Are you apologizing? You saved my life. I guess I did. Right before the car was about to crash into Kurisu, I managed to tackle her and prevent the accident. But because my body had moved unconsciously, it didn't feel like I did anything to save her. You idiot! One wrong move and you would have been run over too. Thank you. With tears in her eyes, Kurisu murmured, "Thank you so much." She repeated her words of gratitude, trembling with fear. Kurisu bites down on her lip and wipes her tears from the corners of her eyes. I look away uncomfortably and pull myself to my feet to escape from the emotional situation. I quickly scanned for the black hood, but he's nowhere to be seen. This is bad. Really bad. We'll try heading in the direction that the black hood was going. Right as I started to move, I saw something out of the corner of my eye. Something I couldn't overlook. That white van familiar had smashed into a shop along the road. Perhaps the driver swerved to avoid us losing control of the vehicle and crashing into the side of the building. We need to chase the black hood ASAP. I know that, 100%. But I can't just ignore a situation where someone could have been hurt. Ah, damn it! I shouted with frustration and ran towards the scene with Kurisu. Are you okay? Is anybody hurt? Kurisu calls into the building. A voice, likely that of an employee, responds. We're all okay. Everybody was in the kitchen. What about the car? That's right, the car. Is the driver safe? Are there any passengers? When I tried to peek inside the car, a man came crawling out of the broken glass. I recognized his eccentric fashion. This man, who seems to be invoked to shine by Gaia herself, is 4D! It's Shido. Wait, how do you know me? Were you the one driving? What the fuck do you think? Honestly, it was hard to believe that he'd even be allowed to drive. Any passengers? None. You're the only one in this vehicle, right? That's what I just said. What a relief. No one was hurt. Given the clarity and vigor with which 4 degrees Celsius is speaking, he must be okay. When I look over 4 degrees Celsius' shoulder at the car, I can see that the airbag has deployed on the driver's side. 4 degrees Celsius, I don't like you, but I'd like to make sure. Are you unharmed? You asshole. What, are you a door-to-door fight salesman? I'll sell you one for $3 million. Good deal, you bastard. He roared in anger and swung his right hand into the air. In it, he held something like a crowbar. Something like a crowbar. In fact, it was a crowbar. Crowbar, get hit, die. After this succession of thoughts bolt through my mind, I strike the "wait, no need to be rash" pose. Then I speak. Wait, no need to be rash. 4 degrees Celsius was not rash. He didn't even have the time to be rash. Before he could get rash, someone blew in like a hurricane. Get him! Shit. 4 degrees Celsius was tackled to the ground, face up. On top of him was a police officer in uniform. Huh? Stop, let me go, let me go! I told you to let me go, damn it! 4 degrees Celsius persisted still. Despite the cop holding him down, he still squirms around like a little cockroach. Before I knew it, 2, 3, 4, 5 officers were holding him down. Under their combined strength, 4 degrees Celsius' movement has been completely contained. Damn you, I won't forget this. You're gonna pay! Several officers pick up 4 degrees Celsius and begin carrying him away. They then shoved him into the cop car that was parked just outside. Cursor and I just looked at each other. Fortunately, an officer approached us and snapped us out of our befuddlement. Thank you for your cooperation. It was the officer who first tackled 4 degrees Celsius. What'd that guy do to get arrested? He's an infamous coin locker robber, a habitual thief. What a surprise. Not. It seems like something he would do. Do you know the coin locker in front of Daibiru? Just earlier he was carrying out an offense there. We found him while we were patrolling the area. That is to say, we caught him in the act. We obviously tried to arrest him then and there, but he ran to a nearby car and fled. So, that's why he was speeding. Yeah, and what caused this mess? Said the policeman, as he pointed to the white van behind him with his thumb. Then I suddenly realized that the officer was holding something in his hand. Something wrapped in a white handkerchief. I casually asked about it. The officer was more than happy to sate my curiosity. Oh, this is what he stole from the coin locker you busted open with the crowbar. May I see it? Go right ahead. And with that, the officer opened his palm. I took a look at the item on the white handkerchief in his hand. A pocket watch? No, this is no ordinary pocket watch. It's pockety. Yes, there was no question about it. This was pockety. Mary's treasure. There's no way I could mistake it. Oh, do you recognize it? Yeah, it belongs to a friend. That's unfortunate. I'd love to return it as thanks for your cooperation, but it is technically evidence, so we need to keep it at the police department. You understand, don't you? By the way, this is broken, isn't it? Glass is cracked. Was it like this before the guy stole it? No way! Mayuri treasured pockety more than anything. She constantly polished it to a mirror sheen. I see. And I assume this was due to the crash. Burning heat boils up from the core of my body. My head began to swim and my indignation began to white out my vision. I raised my head and looked to the police car that 4 degrees Celsius was thrown into. But the car had already driven off. Damn it, that 4 degrees Celsius bastard! Cursing in annoyance, I kicked the nearby white van. Okabe, calm down. Percy grabs my shoulder to calm me. It didn't stop my anger. He just destroyed my area's most important treasure. Pocket watch that she selflessly pawned for the future of our laboratory. Huh? Wait. How's that pocket watch inside a coin locker? Anyway, there's nothing we can do about that 4 degrees Celsius guy. More importantly... I know. Let's find my area in that black hood. I responded before taking one more look at the crashed van. It crashed into a delivery pizza place. The cracked plastic sign said Pizza Rat in large letters. A black hood took my area towards the station. We ran to the front of the station to try to look for them, but I don't see them. No surprise there. We lost sight of them 10 minutes ago. We should split up and search. I'm sorry. What for? I blankly followed the movement of the crowd with my eyes, then spoke. Because I got you mixed up in this, Christina. Then Kurisu placed her hands on her hips. You didn't get me mixed up. I chose to get involved. Based on what you said earlier, I offered to help in World Line number 1. So I sent a email to my own phone that said Tail Mayuri. Isn't that right? Don't act like everything revolves around you. That's just narcissism. Every event in this world of ours is woven of intricate, intertwined causalities. Please speak Japanese. That was Japanese. Kurisu sighs and continues her thought. Anyway, I'll do whatever it takes to help Mayuri. Because I'm a lab mem and you're your sidekick. Sidekick? Google is scum. Alright, I'll call you as soon as I find Mayuri, so you do the same. Said Kurisu, as she disappeared into the crowd of people. Sidekick. I muttered the odd English word in my head once again, then pull out my cell phone. When I googled it, there were a number of hits for Web Dictionary, so I opened one of them. There, the word was defined as follows. English-Japanese Dictionary, sidekick. Related, friend, comrade, partner, assistant. Sidekick. Oh, Oh wait, no. Noun, friend, comrade, partner, assistant. I felt something connect. Or at least, I thought I did. Then, I started to search for Mayuri in the Black Hood. I scoured through the city of Akiba through and through. But in the end, I couldn't find them. That's when I found myself in front of UPX. Of course, I tried calling Mayuri's cell phone again and again. But the only thing I heard was a mechanical voice saying, "The number you have dialed is unavailable." I'm racked with guilt. The plan failed. It backfired. Even if Kurisu came up with the idea in World Line number 1, I still couldn't cope. In retrospect, letting Mayuri loose and waiting for the perpetrator to show up was a reckless idea. It's not Kurisu's fault. I am to blame. It's all my fault. I held my head and fell to my knees. When... Kyouma, I've heard the whole story, yeah! A voice reaches me. When I look up, Ferris was holding her hand out toward me. I don't know what this means. Confused, I take Ferris's hand and stand back up. And Kunyan earlier. Kunyan? Who's that? Makita Kunyan, yeah. Please speak Japanese. Then Christina, yeah. Oh, my assistant. Hold on, you mean you know her? Of course. Kunyan is regular in my Kunyan, yeah. Maybe she brought her there in the beginning, though. Oof, what a world line. Oh, Kunyan told me everything. What do you mean by everything? Ferris ignored my question and just kept going. Kyouma, this is a conspiracy headed by the organization, yeah? We must swiftly and secretly send a space-time mail, or else something terrible will occur. What is a space-time mail? Space-time mail is space-time mail, yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume she's referring to a D-mail here. As such, I've already contacted Darren, yeah, and asked him to set up the phone wave, yeah. Ferris has already jotted down the content of the space-time mail, yeah. Yeah, all Kyouma has to do is call Darren and give him the go signal. Wait. What exactly are you saying here? Just do as Ferris says, yeah. Ferris strikes a kitty punch stance and hisses at me. It wasn't frightening, but I faltered for a different reason. I've told Darren to set the destination time of the space-time mail to 3:23 p.m., yeah. This will let the 2 other space-time mails that you should have received persist. You mean the D-mails or space-time mails that say keep Mayuri in and stop summit, use no fire? Right, yeah. If you send the new one before you receive them, they may disappear. Use no fire one is especially important to keep the lab from burning down, yeah. It was hard to believe, but Ferris seemed to know exactly what was going on. Yeah, about the recipient, yeah. I think we should send to Mayushi this time around. To Mayuri? Why?
You instill a sense of danger in my Ishin, yeah. Kyouma and Kunya worked hard in this world line, but it didn't work out, yeah. That's why we must share the problem with my Ishin, yeah. You encourage her to protect herself.
We already tried that in this world line. It didn't work. Well, fine. I'll hear her out for now.
Lastly, about the content of the space-time man, yeah. I don't think my Ishin should take one step outside, yeah. So I decided to send a message that says, stay in the lab, yeah.
I'm afraid that's pointless. Ultimately, the Black Hood men will show up at the lab.
I knew that already, yeah. But isn't it a dream come true, yeah? Kyouma and Kunya are searching for the Black Hoods now, Bloodshot Eyes and all, right? If they come to you, doesn't that give you the advantage, yeah?
But
You must fight, Kyouma! You can't give in to fear, yeah? Locking yourself in, chasing them around, these things will never save my Ishin, yeah? You were going to confront the Black Hoods in this world line anyway, weren't you, yeah? That's why you went out of your way to spy on them.
that's true. Ferris is exactly right. I felt like the world was opening up before my eyes. That's right. I should fight. Now I have no choice but to fight. If we return to my area getting kidnapped or the lab being burned down no matter what I do, then I have to fight the Black Hoods. As I thought through this, I became more and more energized. I let out a noble laugh. That's right, Ferris. I would expect nothing less from the wielder of the Cheshire Break. This was merely a test I had planned for you. I wasn't being indecisive, nor were my spirits dashed, but you knew that, didn't you? Very well. Once more onto the breach. I don't actually know if there are any breaches around here, but fight we shall. Finally, my time has come to unleash this right arm. In the middle of my wonderful speech,
Hello there, Nyan.
I realized Ferris had, out of nowhere, pulled my phone out of my pocket and started making calls. Ferris?
Just a minute, yeah.
Phase 10, we're good to go over here. Larry's giddy voice was so shrill I could hear it from the phone in Ferris's hand.
Now let's get right to it and activate the phone wave, yeah.
Okay, I'm counting on the omelet rice you promised me.
Hang on, yeah. I'll make you 100 plates.
Oh, my chest is burning up. Oh, me wept. Oh, and here comes the electric discharge. I was anything but prepared for this. But once she heard those words, Ferris looked at me and said,
Alright, yeah. Go, Kyouma.
Ferris places her thumb on the send button of her own phone. As she pressed it, I caught a glimpse of the words written on her screen. They said the following. No going out. Lab is safe. Fight Black Hoods.
And click, yeah.
4.530806. My vision trembles, as does my brain. In spite of the usual dizziness, it was easy enough for me to tell where I was. The Future Gadget Laboratory, the lab's development room, in fact. And in the corner of the room sat Mayuri. She's holding her knees with headphones in her ears. She seems to be listening to music on some sort of portable music player. Mayuri's here! Beneath my relief, an idea began to surface. Mayuri's listening to music. But that would mean that this is world line number 3. Well, I could discern that from the contents of the mail that triggered the reading Steiner this time. No going out. Lab is safe. Fight Black Hoods. So, as soon as my dizziness faded, I took action. First, I ran into the common room and checked out the window. There was a black SUV, but no Black Hoods. Of course, so there. Standing right outside the door. I swallow and head towards the door. Just to make sure, I look through the peephole. There they are, as I predicted. Fish-eyed lens gives everything a surreal, distorted effect, making their already strange appearance look even more bizarre and terrifying. I unconsciously step away, then place my hand on my chest and compose myself. You must fight, Kyouma! You can't give in to fear, nya! Oh!
You must fight, Kyouma. You can't give in to fear, yeah.
Ferris's voice suddenly echoed in my ears. That's right, I have to fight! What are you afraid of, Hoenn Kyouma? I already know that eventually they'll kick down this door and force their way in. But this time I shall make the first move. Okay, bring it on! I steel my resolve and unlock the door. Then I slowly twist the doorknob. From there... kick the door into them. Ah! I looked down at my feet. 2 men in black hoods were crouched down, holding their nose and stomach. Odd. In my mental simulation, this single blow had a domino effect, sending all 5 of the black hoods tumbling shamefully down the steps. But I only managed to knock down 2 of them. The other 3 are uninjured. Shit. A bead of cold sweat drips down my face. And for some reason, silence hangs over us. I couldn't tell through their masks, but it seemed like the 3 of them were struck dumb by my surprise attack. Which means it's time for a follow-up attack. Or so I thought. Before I could take action, the black hood on the far left let out a subwoofer-level roar. The fuck was that, you piece of shit? Huh? Is that Kansai dialect? Hiroshima, maybe? I'm not sure, but that loud, weird voice was enough to send shivers down my spine. I guess these guys really are part of some creepy organization. Henceforth, the black hood that screamed will be referred to as number 1. The one standing to his right, number 2, and to the right of him, number 3. And the black hoods that were knocked down will be for number 4 and number 5. While I was momentarily shocked, I couldn't let the likes of this noisemaker take me down without a fight. If I were a frill-necked lizard, I would expand my collar and intimidate them. Unfortunately, I'm not a frill-necked lizard, and my collar does not expand. To make up for this deficiency, I displayed my Form 16 mantis stance. Then, I roared. Adieu! Yes, it's working! It's working! The fuck it is! In response, I switched to Form 17, Flying Crane stance. As graceful, towering stands with widespread wings, resembling the red-crowned crane I found in Kushiro National Park. He's fucking with us now, right? With that, number 1 reached inside his cloak. He pulls something out. It was a single, long sword. Hey, that's cheating! Shut up! He swings at me with a roar. I swiftly dodge his strike by leaping back. Then I try to strike the wait, no need to be rash pose, but it didn't seem to work on him. He presses his way inside and into the center of the room. Then number 2 and number 3 follow behind him. Where's Sheena? Number 1 asks with a deep voice. I respond. Sheena? Who are you talking about? Don't play dumb, Sheena Mayuri. I have no idea. Who is this Mayuri? What'd I just say? It was at that moment. Number 2's line of sight was pointing in the direction of the development room. No. As though he sensed my worry, number 1 narrowed his eyes behind his mask and spoke. There, huh? Number 1 takes a step forward. What do I do? What can I do? At this rate, my area will be taken away.
You must fight, Kyouma. You can't give in to fear now.
Varys' voice reemerges in my ear. How do I fight? How do I approach this? My opponent is carrying a longsword. There's no way I can win against a sword unless I have one myself. And I'm in the lab. Where am I supposed to find a sword? Number 1 has already moved right in front of the development room. He's but a moment away from passing through the curtain. I have no time. There's no time to think. I instinctively rush towards the cardboard box and draw out a sword stashed inside. I take a stance and shout. How careless of you to allow me to arm myself, number 1! Huh? Who the hell's number 1? Witness and tremble before the master of Seishin's on my swordsmanship. Here I come! My attempt was so pathetic I was at a loss for words. I charged and swung at number 1 with my sword, but his long sword easily knocked my blade away, shattering it to pieces. Which I suppose was to be expected. After all, in my hands was feature gadget number 6, Sialoom Saber. I couldn't believe that I thought I stood a chance with this thing, even for a moment. Call it temporary insanity. I was running mainly on instinct when I grabbed the gadget. It's all over. Our annihilation ensured. I have no means of retaliation. My entire body is soaked with an unpleasant amount of sweat. On the other hand, number 1 was staring at the red liquid that was spilled all over his hands. Hey, what is this? I get cut or something? don't think so. You look okay to me. This fake blood? God, the fuck, man? It's all over my coke and everything. And the longsword, too. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. This deadass got me 98,000 yen at Bladeworks. Bladeworks? It means, just like the sword I bestowed upon Rukako, the demon sword Samadare, the longsword is artificial. Looking at it closely, the sharp edges of the blade were rounded off slightly. There was another thing I realized. The attack with the Xylium Saber wasn't meaningless. It is clear from the way these guys are freaking out that they really don't like their hoods getting dirty. My intuition told me as much. This is my chance to strike back. I again ran toward the cardboard box and grabbed a bundle of Xylium Sabers. On the end of each saber is a cap. I took off the caps and started to throw them one by one. Jesus, guy. Cut it out! Stop it! Needless to say, I didn't stop. I didn't let up in my retaliation and continued to relentlessly carpet bomb them. Oh shit, at this rate we're all gonna be bloodstained. Yeah, how are we supposed to wear these to Kyouma the day after tomorrow? Kyouma? Thought I heard something like that, but I continued unabated. I continued to throw the uncapped Xylium Sabers, one after another. Come on, we've got to fall back. Roger. But... Come on, get the lead out and go. Three of them tripped over each other as they ran outside. I still hadn't yet discerned their identities. I chased after them, refusing letting them get away with this. I ran down the stairs and come out in front of the CRT workshop. The black SUV had already driven off. I could see the car get further into the distance. Either number 4 or number 5 were at the entrance, so they must have started the engine and waited. Damn! I wanted to chase after them, but there's no way I'd be able to catch up to a car. With nowhere to vent my anger, I could only stand there fuming. Then... Someone spoke behind me. I turned around to see... a black hood! You bastard! I looked at the black hood with fury as I roared. Oh, hold on, please! Shut up! Don't say another word! I aimed at his torso and charged. We tumbled onto the ground in a tangle of limbs. By the time we stopped, I was on top of them. I immediately take the mounting position and raise right arm. Give it up, Black Hood! I gave up! I've given up already! No, you haven't given up yet. Even if you have, it's too late. The steel of my right arm has been broken already. Even I am powerless to hold back its rage. Someone help! Here it comes! Tremble, right arm of mine! I call upon our contract to issue my command. Engulf thyself in pitch black hellfire! Then suddenly...
Okay, no!
A voice rained down from above my head. When I looked up, Mayuri was leaning out the window and shouting at me.
Please, Ocarine, stop! That's Meishi's friend, I think.
You think? I roughly tear off the man's mask. Underneath was... Your...
Oh, I thought so. His name is Nakase Shinichi. He's Fubuki-chan's older brother.
Fubuki's older brother, Nakase Shinichi, is a cosplayer who works at a pawn shop. Through her connection with Fubuki and their mutual interest in cosplay, Mayuri and Shinichi have been close friends for a while. About a month ago, Mayuri came to visit Shinichi. Her purpose, to raise money. In order to fund for the Future Gadget Magic mod project, Mayuri asked Shinichi for 3 million yen. Needless to say, pawn shops don't lend out money for free. So as a pawn, Mayuri offered up Pockety. But despite the retro appeal of the pocket watch, there was no way it would be valued at 3 million yen. So Shinichi decided to lie. It is indeed a beautiful watch. It's definitely worth 3 million. But because it's valued so highly, I'm afraid you'll need to wait a little. And Shinichi ran to the bank, withdrew 3 million yen from his account and handed it to Mayuri. In other words, he paid for it with his own money. By the way, Mayuri doesn't know this yet. She still thinks she borrowed the 3 million yen from the pawn shop. Mayuri wasn't around when Shinichi told me this. We told her that we needed to have a man-to-man conversation, emphasis on the man, and sent her home. Back to the issue. A month passed, leading us to yesterday, August 12th. Mayuri didn't get the 3 million yen from the lottery, but by pawning Pockety. After obtaining this information from Daru, I visited Shinichi's pawn shop with the 3 million yen I had borrowed from Mondo Shinpan, apparently. I handed the money to Shinichi and asked him to return the pocket watch. But the pocket watch was not at the pawn shop. Shinichi was holding onto it himself. Shinichi, afraid of being caught in his lie, accepted the money and told me, "I'll return Shina's pocket watch personally, but please stand down on this matter." I obviously wasn't going to back down after being asked. It seems we argued for 2 to 3 hours after that. Prompted by a certain statement, I eventually returned home empty-handed. Then came today, August 13th. Shinichi was supposed to meet up with Mayuri to return the pocket watch. Their meeting time was 4:30, and he waited for Mayuri, but she never showed up. Which isn't a surprise, my past self had kept Mayuri in the lab after reading those 2 D-mails. He couldn't reach her by phone or email. Her phone was dead, so there was no way to contact her. Normally, one would think, I'll just return it tomorrow or the day after, but not Shinichi. Not after I hammered, "That pocket watch is very important to Mayuri," into his head over and over the day before. Shinichi wanted to return the pocket watch today, no matter what. That's why he visited the lab. Mayuri had told him before that she was closely involved with the place after all. Okay, I'm beginning to understand. In a nutshell, you came to the lab to return the pocket watch, right? Well, more accurately, I came here with the intent to return it. Is that any different? It's a little different. No matter. By the way, who were those people, your friends in the black hoods? In fact, why are you dressed like that? My cosplay friends, part of a different cosplay circle than my sister Fubuki's. Those costumes are the ones Mayuri made for us. We were going to wear them to Kyouma the day after tomorrow. I thought as much. Which means I've done wrong by Mayuri. I slightly start to regret throwing all that fake blood all over the costumes. There's no need to dress like that in the town. Wait, what? But there's no need to dress like that in the town there? Or do you wear these costumes on a daily basis? Of course not. So why would you... We were all looking for Shina before we came here. I called everyone and asked them to help me search for Mayuri. We decided to split up and search the streets of Akiba, but Akiba is a big place. That wasn't going to be easy, was it? That's why we decided we'd make it easy for her to find us instead, so... That's why you dressed up so conspicuously. Costumes are a little much, but since Shina made them, we figured she'd spot us in a snap. In the end, she never found us, so we decided to try the lab. What about that car? You saw the guy with the longsword, right? It's his car. He's the kind of guy who gets a little rowdy when he's mad, but I guess you're already aware of that, huh? Above our heads, countless stars were already twinkling. For some reason, the sky looked prettier here than in any other world lines. Alright, well, shall I take you-know-what back? You know what? Pocket watch, of course. Oh, well, I don't actually have it. Why? There's a wake I have to attend tonight for a friend of mine. For my sincerest condolences, but what does that have to do with anything? She didn't come to our meeting spot. I couldn't get a hold of her, so I was convinced that I wouldn't be able to meet with her today. But I really wanted to get the pocket watch back to her by the end of the day. So I placed it in a locker. Coin locker in front of Daibiru. What? Why would you do something like that? I told you, because I didn't think I could meet her face to face today. But even if I couldn't, I wanted to be able to return it to her by the end of the day. I asked myself, how can I do that? Like this. Shinichi removed his cell phone from his pocket. I intended to send this text message if we looked for her until the very end and still couldn't find Shina. Of course I hadn't sent this yet, but this is how it was saved. I peeked into the phone screen that was faced towards me. It was written as follows. For Shina, you know what? In DB locker number 005, the key is taped to the bottom of the locker. Familiar sentence. There was no way I could forget. This is... Hey, tell me one thing. What's your cell phone's mail account name? Why do you ask? Just please, tell me. It's I chain his snake. What does it mean? Huh? I'm asking what that account name means. There's no particular meaning. It's just an anagram. But my name, Nakaze Shinichi. If I rearrange those letters, they become I chain his snake. Felt like I was completely exsanguinated. Dried up from my toes up. At the same time, I heard click, sound of things fitting together. These numerous fragments came together and shone in a dazzling flash inside of me. So that's what it was. At that moment, everything made sense. In a snap, I could see the full picture, the entire sequence of events. Then Kurisu entered the lab. She looked from me to Shinichi and back again with puzzlement. Who is this? Shinichi and I decided to go to the coin lockers in front of Daibiru. There was one thing I wanted to confirm. I told Kurisu to wait at the lab. If my prediction is correct, I would need to send an email. Without anyone at the lab, the phone wave usage change wouldn't be active. So I asked Kurisu to take that post. Kurisu pressed me for an explanation, but the moment I said, "Tell everyone you go to net cafes," she swiftly fell in line. And here we are. Now, regarding the issue I wanted to confirm, the moment the coin locker came into view, and the typing on this, I believed I had my answer. Because the door of the bottom left locker, number 005, was severely deformed. But I still needed to check. I peeked inside the locker just in case. Empty. Nothing inside. Can't be. Shinichi was quite flustered, but the sight did not surprise me at all. It's an unfortunate turn of events, of course, but it's one I had already anticipated, so the shock isn't as severe for me. Would you like me to tell you what happened? You know? I do. An unsavory man named 4 degrees Celsius forced this locker open with a crowbar. Then he stole the pocket watch inside. He's an infamous coin locker breaker, apparently. Darn it, I'll never forgive him. Never! How can the police let someone like that run loose? Well, they did catch him in World Line number 2. That's probably not possible in this World Line number 3. That pocket watch has probably been sold off somewhere by now. As frustrating as it is, it's hard to deny that in this World Line number 3, the possibility that Mayuri will be reunited with Pockety is incredibly slim. World Line number 2 is similarly frustrating. There, Pockety is in police custody as a piece of evidence, but will eventually be returned to Mayuri. Unfortunately, that Pockety is in a sorry state. The crash had done severe damage to it. So is there a way to get Pockety back unscathed? There is, but only one. I need to return to World Line number 1. How? By sending a D-mail, of course. From whose phone? From X's. From Shinichi's phone. Who was the recipient? My cell phone. When will you send it to? I should receive it at 4:03. What's the message? The message that Shinichi showed me earlier, just as is. The D-mail will automatically delete any character after the 36 single byte character, after all. For Sheena, you know what in DB Locker, number 005. The key is taped to the bottom of the locker. For Sheena, you know what in DB Locker, number 005. The key is taped to the bottom of the locker. For Sheena, you know what in DB Locker. Well, to be fair, I am deleting a space before in DB Locker to keep the entirety of the last word in the D-mail. I'd feared returning to World Line number 1 because of the risk that Mayuri will go missing. That's no longer a concern, because I am now aware that X is no kidnapper. The answer lies within the D-mail that my sidekick sent. A disturbing mangle of letters. I borrow Shinichi's phone, open up the saved message from earlier, and set the recipient as the phone wave needs to change. I've already informed Kurisu of my intended time and recipient. All I need to do is call her. However, her cell phone is currently incapacitated due to dropping it in the toilet at the net cafe. So I thought I would call the Brown Tube Workshop. But I never saved its number into my phone. So I dialed 104 next to be connected directly. Brown Tube Workshop, what can I do you for? I said, due to a complicated turn of events, I need to talk to Kurisu in the lab ASAP. Would you do me a favor and go upstairs to get her for me? To which the owner replied, What? You think we're still using phones with cords? I'll just leave this phone up there with her for a bit. Hold on a sec. Put me on hold, where I was greeted with the classic hold waiting music to release. While I waited, I turned my attention to Shinichi. Hey Shinichi, I have 2 things I want to ask. Is that okay? What's on your mind? If, and this is only hypothetical, if while you were searching for Mayuri, let's say the guy with the longsword was the one to find her, what would he do? Knowing him, he'd probably drag her along by force and bring her to me. And then what? Well, as soon as I saw Mayuri, I'd give her watch back. But if you'd already placed it in the locker, I would bring her to the locker's end. But what would you do if the locker looked like this? That would be a problem. I would probably cry and apologize. And what else? Ultimately, I think I would have accompanied her back to your research facility, or lab as you call it. Honestly, I feel like I'm about to cry right now, said Shinichi as he wiped the end of his eyes with the back of his hand. Your release is still playing. Without taking the phone away from my ear, I asked the next question. Secondly, yesterday when I went to the pawn shop, you said you managed to satisfy me by making a certain statement, yes? So what was that certain statement? When I asked, Shinichi looked up at the night sky, stretched out his arm, and formed a fist, as if he was trying to grab the stars. Then he responded. I said, I'm in love with Sheena. Which is why I insisted on handing the pocket watch back myself. Oh, hello, Okabe. It's me. Hello? Hello? I hear you. And say something, I swear. You wouldn't believe how mad the owner was when he saw the condition of the lab. I did clean up the Silum Saber pieces, but those blood stains. The stains are gonna take a while, so I let them be for now. I have to go return this cordless phone after activating the phone wave too. That's gonna be really awkward. I inadvertently looked down at my body. My clothes are covered with stains from the fake blood and my hands are all red. I must have gotten covered where I jumped on Shinichi. Alright, I forgot to tell you one important thing. Everything's set up and ready to go on the phone wave. All I need to do is activate it. Hey, is everything okay? Did something happen? Nothing. I'm fine. Let's go! Phone wave name subject change. Activate! Roger. Shortly after, I can hear the sound of sparks through the phone. Electrical discharge confirmed. Prompted by those words, I take Shinichi's phone and press send. 4.456441. When the dizziness faded, Kurisu was standing in front of me. But I didn't have time to explain. Without saying anything, I rushed to the locker in the bottom left corner and stuck my hand underneath it. I feel something hard against my fingertips. It was affixed to the bottom of the locker with a piece of tape. I peel it off and take a look at what I found. Sure enough, it was the key to the locker. The number 005 is engraved upon it. Yes! Wait, what's going on? I'll tell you all about it later, just watch. Leaving the flummoxed Kurisu aside, I did what I had to do. I insert the key into the locker number 005 and twist it. It unlocked with a nice metallic snap. I take a few deep breaths and close my eyes. Please be there. With that wish in my heart to take hold of the locker door and open it. Inside, there was the pocket watch. Mary's most precious treasure, Pockety. And of course, Pockety was completely unscathed. Sparkling clean too, just the way it should be. Did you see that, 4 degrees Celsius? Such is the might of my all-seeing eye! Once I launch my beautiful tenor voice towards outer space, I take Pockety out of the locker and put it in my pocket. As you have likely discerned by now, the reason why Pockety was left unharmed in World Line number 1 is because Kurisu and I maintained our vigil in front of the lockers. As a result, 4 degrees Celsius couldn't do his job and break into the locker. Come, let us go, Christina! Go where? To our base, the lab, of course. What about Ix? Ix is no kidnapper, he's just a pawn shop working cosplayer. In other words, a cosplaying pawn shop worker. Is there a difference? And what about Mayuri? Don't worry about Mayuri, all of the crimes have been solved. Or perhaps I should say what we thought were crimes were non-criminal from the very beginning. Huh? Let's just go at Channeler Crease. We must report back to the lab. Stop calling me that. And with that, all the mysteries are solved, my friends. I still have no idea what's going on. Eat, please. Fine, then I shall enlighten you. It all began at 3:18 when Mayuri's cell phone received a single D-mail. In other words, the answer to everything is hidden within Mayuri's cell phone here. But unfortunately, this phone's battery is dead. We cannot read what's in the mailbox right now. Daru, there should be one of my chargers back there. Can you get it? I refuse. Now's not the time to refuse. Here you go, said Daru as he tossed the charger over to me. After catching it, I connected it to Mayuri's phone and stuck the power plug into the wall outlet. Since Mayuri and my phones are from the same company, we can use the same chargers. That should do it.
Hurry up and show us the demon.
Not so fast, Christina. No need to rush. Everything has an order to it. Just as Yamamura-sensei says.
Who?
It doesn't matter. I won't talk for much longer, so please listen. The email in question had two mysteries. One is its content, the other its sender. I'll talk about the sender first. I'll cut to the chase. The one who sent this email is you, Christina.
Why do you say it like you're accusing me of a crime? Besides, I never sent any email.
Yes, you did. In world number 3, that is. And the account name you used to send it was Sidekick257.
Sidekick257? But that name was in Mayuri's cell phone.
Yes, I told you over and over that that's where you sent the email.
Oh, okay, so that was the email that was sent on 1518.
Yes, that one. Kurisu and I saw the email together here in world line number 1. That's why Kurisu knows the content. Getting a little left out over here, guys. Don't worry, Daru. It seems Christina is having some trouble following the story too.
Now you're just pissing me off.
Anyway, back to business. I want to talk about the account name. Christina, what does sidekick mean in English?
Like friend, comrade, partner, assistant.
Mm-hmm. So what are you in relation to me, Christina?
A complete stranger.
My assistant, open your eyes! Worldline number 1, Christina. You thought so in worldline number 3 at least, right? If not, you wouldn't name your account Sidekick now, would you?
The logic seems totally backwards here.
You mean to say that Sidekick257 isn't your account?
I didn't say that.
Then I ask, when is your birthday?
July 25th.
Break that down into numbers, days first. 257?
But I don't have any accounts by that name.
Of course, because it is disposable email the worldline number 3 assistant created at a net cafe. A net cafe? Marcus, is you going to net cafes?
I would never.
Why lie? Going to a net cafe is hardly shameful. For real, I see normies, mainstream women, and pretty boys there all the time. After Daru's explanation, Kurisu started twirling her hair with her fingers and said,
Well, I might have gone.
No might about it. You told me yourself back in world line number 3. Anyway, back to the disposable account. When exactly did my assistant create it? I imagine it happened during the 3 minutes she had me wait. In world line number 3, Kurisu told me to wait for 3 minutes before setting the phone wave to change his timer and activating it. Then she hung up on me. Because she called me from a public phone, perhaps she immediately went back to her booth, got on the computer, and proceeded to create the disposable account. Within 3 minutes, the account was made. Kurisu then wrote the email and sent it to the phone wave names to change with the delayed send function. It is not a feat an ordinary person could achieve, but considering General increases skills, it may be feasible. One can not forget that Kurisu is a prodigy who at the age of 17 had her work published in a major science magazine. Why did she need to go out of her way to send it from a PC? Worldline number 3's assistant had broken her phone, apparently by dropping it into a toilet at the net cafe. Oof. Anyway, my assistant made another peculiar move during all this. She initially instructed to set my cell phone as the email's recipient, but after the electrical discharge had begun, she called me to tell me to switch it to Mayuri's phone instead. This is closely tied to the reason why the email was encrypted. It was encrypted? Indeed, but not digitally. No, there's a very analog form of encryption. It was worded in a way that only a select few would understand. Why'd she do that, you ask? Because she initially intended to send it to my phone. This email, like many others, contained a word of instruction, telling me to do something. If I had received the email as originally intended, I probably would have carried out the instructions in the email without fail. But what if I was caught by an enemy after I had done so? My phone would be taken and my foe would check the inbox, learning immediately what I had done, which would defeat the purpose of sending an email in the first place. So my worldline number 3 assistant decided to encrypt the message. In other words, by making the message something only you could read, she eliminated the possibility of an enemy finding out whatever you'd been instructed to do. That's correct. Why change the recipient to Maishi? Simple. By sending it to Mayuri, she can all but ensure that her word of instruction wouldn't be leaked even if she hadn't bothered with something as time-consuming as encryption. Worldline number 3 assistant realized this after she readied the message to be sent on delay. That's why she rushed to call me and have me switch the recipient to Mayuri. Well then, now that all that's out of the way, can you tell us what the email says? But of course! I sent it, powered on Mayuri's phone, and opened the inbox. I proceeded to display the encrypted messages in order, primarily for Daru's sake, because Kurisu had seen them once before. This is the encrypted message that was sent for me. Needless to say, I must know how to decipher it. And similarly, my assistant who wrote this message must also know. So with what methods do we encrypt it? What cipher do my assistant and I share? It didn't dawn on me until Dario had told me something in world line number 2. It did? Was it something erotic? It definitely wasn't erotic. By the way, it was Mike's who found this post. You really don't remember, Ocarine? Showed you the side-chat post last night too. You read it properly then. What? So what does that mean? You don't get it. I had to read it vertically. Oh, you just gotta stack 3 messages like a sandwich. Mayuri will be kidnapped. Hide in ghost. Hide in ghost. And all you have to do is read it vertically from the left, letter by letter, then it becomes this. Mayuri will be kidnapped. Hide in ghost. Mayuri will be kidnapped. Hide in ghost? Give them a small nod and speak. Receiving this email at 15:18, Mayuri must have immediately... Well, maybe not immediately, but she must have informed me that she received a suspicious message. Mayuri and I were here at the lab at the time, after all. Knowing her, she'd probably say, Hey, Ocarina, I got some weird email, and showed me her phone. Then, after decrypting the message, I proceeded to carry out the instructions. What did that mean? Mayuri was... Yes, she was here the entire time. I walked towards the corner of the room, and pulled the charger cable from the wall. Haha, Fisher Gadget number 7, Ghost in the Ball. Demonized Edition version 1.24 is upon us. Demonized Edition? After we Magic Mod it, we had to give it a cooler name. Hey, more importantly, is Mayuri really inside? Let's open it up and find out. Hey Dario, how do you open it? You just lift it up. As instructed, I lifted up Ghost in the Ball. And there was Mayuri. Mayuri lay on a comforter on the floor, curled up like a cat. She's sound asleep. Really? That was anticlimactic. What was the point of all that worrying? But she seemed so at ease. Like a child that fell asleep inside a closet while playing hide and seek. At any rate, well done, Okabe. Yeah. That one word was all I had left in me. If I tried for a second, it would have loosened tears from my eyes. For a while, we just silently looked at Mayuri's sleeping face. And while I listened to her sleeping breath, I found myself wondering, why didn't I hide Mayuri inside Ghost in the Ball in World Line number 2 or World Line number 3? The encrypted likely D-mail would have reached Mayuri's phone at 15:18 in both of them. So why didn't I follow the instructions? Following is merely my hypothesis, so I may very well be mistaken. But perhaps both World Line number 2 and World Line number 3 play out like so. First, Mayuri receives the D-mail at 3:18 p.m. Then Mayuri, with puzzled huh and several hmms, tried to work out the garbled message on her own, putting all of her intelligence to the task. But during this time in both World Line number 2 and World Line number 3, I received the Keep Mayuri in to stop kidnapping D-mail. That would be at 3:20, just 2 minutes after Mayuri received the encrypted D-mail. Seeing this D-mail, I likely found myself so caught up in the immediate threat that I didn't give Mayuri the chance to say the word about her D-mail. And on Mayuri's part, listen, Mayuri, you are to under no circumstances leave this place. Stay in the lab. Got it. I imagine after hearing my stark warning and seeing the fire in my eyes, she found it difficult to bring up a strange, seemingly unrelated message. 4 minutes later, at 3:24, I received a phone call from Kurisu in World Line 2. Of course, the call was in regards to the D-mail that she received, which said, Tail Mayuri, perpetrator must be caught. World Line number 3, on the other hand, at 3:22, I received the Stop Summit, Use No Fire, Level Burn D-mail, which is shortly followed by Mayuri receiving the No Going Out, Lab is Safe, Fight Black Hoods D-mail at 3:26. These consecutive D-mails must have thrown the lab into chaos, costing Mayuri the opportunity to tell me about the first message he received. But these D-mails are limited to their respective world lines. In this World Line number 1, there was never a situation where we received multiple D-mails consecutively, so Mayuri probably had more leeway to approach me. Hey, Ocarina, I got a weird message. I also wouldn't have been in a panic, so I'd be able to focus on decrypting the message. Therefore, this is the result. That's why I didn't hide Mayuri in World Line number 2 or World Line number 3. But maybe it's more accurate to say that those 2 world lines were produced because I didn't hide Mayuri. And while I was thinking about all that, Mayuri began to stir and slowly opened her eyes.
What's going on? Why is everybody...
Three of us looked at each other and grinned.
Maishi's here.
What's with that soulless doo-doo-doo?
Well, I just woke up.
Wakabe, what about... Oh, that's right. I pull you-know-what out of my pocket, place it in Mayuri's palms, and close her hands over it. Mayuri seems puzzled.
Uh-huh. It's Pockety. You got Pockety back.
Then she jumped up to her feet.
How could this be?
It fell from the sky.
Really? I'm kind of confused, but Maishi is really happy. Thank you, Queen.
Mayuri gently places Pockety against her ear. She looked enchanted as she listened to it tick. Hey, by the way, Maishi, were you really inside that ball this whole time?
Yeah, why do you ask?
We were all worried that you'd gone missing somewhere.
I'm missing? No way I go missing. Maishi will always be here. I have to be here. Because Maishi is... Queen's... hostage!
And that is the end of Abduction Across Three Worlds. That was really good. I enjoyed that. It wasn't as intense as a bunch of the other ones, but there was a lot going on, and there was a lot of intrigue, and just having it take place across 3 different world lines, I think... Here, let's see. Oh, this is a nice song. Having it take place across 3 different world lines definitely like add to the complexity of the story and made it a lot more deep, I think. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's my favorite one, but it is really, really good. I'm not even sure which one I would call my favorite one at the moment, but yeah, that was still really, really good. I enjoyed that a lot. And yeah, and that was 4.4 something. Oh yeah, at some point I want to talk about the different attractor fields. So I had it wrong. There are a bunch of different attractor fields. The first one, of course, being the alpha attractor field, which is the 0.000 to 0.99999. Here, let me just pull this up to make sure that I'm getting this right. No, not attractor forms. Attractor fields. There we go. Yeah, so the alpha attractor field is the one where you've got the dystopia, you've got CERN. Then you've got the beta attractor field, which is the one where we had to avert World War III with Dr. Nakabachi and all that business. But there's also Steins Gate, which is in the beta attractor field at 1.048596%. And there's actually 2 others. There's 1.049326 and 1.048599 are apparently part of the Chi attractor field. We'll get back to that. The Gamma attractor field. I don't think it ever shows up in any of the visual novels. I think it shows up in a light novel or something. I'm not 100% sure. And that one is 2% to 2.999999%. Oh, hello.
Oh, Green, it sounds like we have a visitor.
Who could it be at this hour? I headed towards the door and slowly opened it. And who should appear but... Kyouma!
Have we met before?
I desperately checked the time, 7:53. It wasn't exact, but it was close to the time that the Rounders raid our lab. No, not now! I can't breathe. I was frozen, unable to move a muscle. Nindaro came up from behind me. Oh, you're the Tabak lady?
Yes.
The one working at the publishing company?
An editorial company called Arc Rewrite.
Mocha's using full sentences. Is this not the Shining Finger I know?
I know he's scheduled for an 8 o'clock pickup. Am I too early?
No, that's not it, but...
And can I have you know what?
Yeah, about that, Dario cast a glance towards the corner of the room. When I followed his line of sight, I saw it. Soaked in Dr. P. The thing I spilled Dr. P all over. That someone bought for 3 million yen. Oh, what were they supposed to buy for 3 million yen? Sketchbook.
Oh, that's too bad. This condition, well, you know. Sorry to have bothered you. I'll be going now.
Suddenly, my petrification was lifted. Right as Molika disappeared out the door, I quickly turned around. I ran as fast as I could into the development room.
Wait, Okabe, what are you trying to do?
Ursu asked as she chased after me. She has a look of concern on her face, which probably means that was a rhetorical question.
You're joking, right?
I stood in front of the X68000. Only one remains unsettled. My 3 million yen debt.
I told you won't need to pay that back.
Were it so easy. If I don't, I'm going to end up in the depths of Tokyo Bay for sure. I can only think of 2 ways to earn that money. One is to win the grand prize at the Akiba Invention Contest. And the other is to return to the past and prevent myself from spilling Dr. P all over the sketchbook.
Then which will you choose?
How foolish of you to ask, Christina! Which will I choose? That's not for me to decide. I leave my fate to the will of Steins Gate. L. Psi Congru. 4.456441. Abduction across 3 worlds. Excellent! Yeah, it's a good ending. Alright, so, yeah, just to follow up on what I was saying before, I don't know, future me probably throw up some sort of graphic for this, I don't know. Gamma attractor field is 2% to just under 3%. That's the one that shows up in something else, but not any of the visual novels. The delta attractor field, 3% to 3.999999%. That's the one that My Darling's Embrace happens in. So that's where all those world lines occur. Epsilon exists. The Chi attractor field is only made up of 2 world lines, which I mentioned before. And those happen in Duka's story. So the here, let me just what? There's another one? Okay, so first of all, Hermaphroditus in the Labyrinth. This one, the one that the Warline ends up on at the end of Hermaphroditus in the Labyrinth, that is the Chi attractor field, which is within the Beta attractor field, but not affected by it, theoretically. And then Omega attractor field is negative 0.0000 to negative 0.999999. So yeah, that's a thing. Also, what? Nye! Lunar Bifrost. Ooh, it's in Alpha. It's in Alpha and it's Nye to Noji. Oh boy. Well, that's gonna have to wait for another episode because I think this is a pretty good place to cut it. So thank you all so much for following my playthrough of Steins Gate, Linear Bounded Phenogram. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now!